Wilbur.
We are ready to talk horse racing on the Prime Sports Network, playbooksports.com horse report. That's Mark's company, and it's good to have Mark back. How's it going, Mark?
I'm doing just terrific, guys. It's nice to be back in the saddle again. And most importantly, it's nice to be having that ugly disease, that ugly virus in the rear view mirror.
Yes. You can never tell.
Good news.
Yes, thank you.
That is good news. Okay, so we have, by the way, how are you doing, John?
Good. Dealing with a lot of rain up at Saratoga, but today looks like a clear day. And
Yeah, you're going to get a hurricane in a couple of days.
Oh, good. Glad to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
We had, after 48 straight hours of rain, it's nice to hear.
Yeah. So you get a hurricane before Mark gets one. They haven't had a hurricane in South Florida in I don't know how many years. All right. We've got the two races from Del Mar, and we're going to start. By the way, they're going to be in succession, race 10 and 11. Race 10 is the one we're going to start with first. That's the TVG Pacific Classic. After that, we'll talk about the Grade 2 Del Mar Handicap. And they're both Breeders' Cup Challenge. You win and you are in. So let us start first of all with the number one. And by the way, this is a 1.25 mile race. The number one, Tripoli.
It's race 10.
Oh, what did I say?
No, I'm just telling everybody.
Oh, okay. Tripoli, a 5-1 shot. If you take a look at this horse, really, first off on turf, 11 races, doesn't really do much. Turns over to dirt, John, and in back-to-back dirt races, 8-8. Runs second in a Grade 2 race at Del Mar. The only thing I'm concerned about here, and I have a right to be concerned with this, is that the rider is 1 for 56 at the meet. I'm concerned with that.
Well, he happened to have won a few races yesterday.
Oh, okay,
so
good. He's on a roll.
Yeah. Listen, this is an interesting horse. The first 11 races of his career, they ran him on turf, and then someone had the idea, well, let's try him on the dirt. And it was an optional claiming event, and he ran an 8, and then he ran another 8. The 8 last time out was without Lasix. He has no Lasix tomorrow. So, it's an interesting horse. I would probably want a little more than 5-1, and you'll probably get more than 5-1 because it looks like he's cheap class-wise. He's never run in a stakes race before. And, well, last time out he actually did. He ran second in the San Diego Handicap. I don't know. He has a shot certainly to run another 8, and that may be good enough to get a piece.
All right, now we're going to go already with Mark's top pick. We didn't waste any time. Mark's top pick is going to be Tis a Magician. And this is a 5-1 shot, the 2 horse. This is a Pratt ridden horse. Matter of fact, he jumped on a few starts ago, and the horse is finished first, second, and first. Not bad, and that's just recently. The sheets are headed in the right direction, Mark, over the last 3 races with Pratt, 13, 12, and 9. So in order to win this race, you're definitely you would more than likely assume that you're going to need to keep that trend going, maybe a 7 or a 6.
I do like the pattern, Greg. If this horse improves any at all, it would mean a 7 or an 8, which John says could win this race. This horse has a nose for the money in graded stakes races. He's cashed in 5 of his 6 graded stakes races. He's also a horse that likes the track here. He's in the money 4 of 6 straight races at Del Mar here. For the price, I think this is a square price, 5-1. I got him right on top. I see this horse improving and running this 8 or possibly a 7 in this race.
John?
He's okay. I mean, listen, he's a 4-year-old who has the right to improve. He has the 7 last year at Del Mar to go back to. If he decides to run it tomorrow, obviously he'll be a major player here.
Yeah, the only thing I was a little bit, and who knows, we'll see. Well, you mentioned that with the 1 is the odds. Is that I'm thinking maybe the odds will actually improve, at least for the 1. You think the odds will improve for the 2, or they'll sit at 5-1?
Well, Pratt and Mandela always take money. It's a potent combination, and usually you don't get the price that you would like when it comes to them. And believe it or not, Mandela having a quiet meet. He's only 3 for 24 at the meet. Usually he does a lot better than that. But if you look, he's been the favorite the last 3 times he's been on the track, and they've all been graded stake races. So, why do you think that he's going to go off as an overlay? I don't. I think he'll probably be less than the 5-1 he's listed at.
All right. Next up, we're going to go with my top pick. Dr. Post, a 4-1 shot from the 3-hole. Rosario on board. This is a Pletcher-Rosario combo here. What I like about the horse is, well, first of all, as you can see, he's coming off a 6. He had an 8 before that, 16 in between. The 16 is one of those races that I'm willing to just draw that line through, because if you take a look, he hasn't had one of those races since his first race when he had the 18. But what I noticed, too, is he's always followed up a sheet top with a second straight equal top. So, in other words, when he hit the 8 the first time, came back with the 8. Hit the 7 the first time, came back with the 7. So now he's at a new top 6. I feel confident he can do that again, because a lot of time we talk about bouncing and things of that nature. It's about that, it's a month out. We'd like about another week, but I'm willing to roll the dice. He's a strong horse, and I like the Rosario-Pletcher combo, too. I don't want to see him go lower than 4-1, though, John.
Well, I don't think he's going to go lower than 4-1. My only concern with him is that the 6 that he ran last time out is when he went back on Lasix.
Okay.
So tomorrow he's going to be off of Lasix, so that's somewhat of a concern. But you had a good read on the sheet. The 8s, then the 7s, finally hits the 6. I would read it as he'd probably react tomorrow and then next time out run the new top. But listen, depends. 4-1 is on the bubble for me.
Yeah.
And again, the no Lasix is a concern. The 16 he ran 2 starts backwards without Lasix. I know the 8 that he ran first out this year was without Lasix. So, I don't know. I don't know how to read it. It really would depend on odds. I wouldn't take a short price on him. That's for sure.
All right, let's go with the 4, Royal Ship. And, John, this is your top choice. Royal Ship, a 7-2 shot. Mike Smith on board. He had those couple of 6s there, then reacted to a 10 last time out at Del Mar. The only thing that I was a little bit concerned with this horse was the fact that he's had 4 races on a fast dirt track. His 2 worst races are at Del Mar. That's it, the 9 and the 10. But the 2 6s is real strong. You're getting almost 4-1.
Well, the 9 that he had last year at Del Mar on the dirt, he had major trouble. If you see, he had a big T. He had trouble at the start. Again, this is Mandela, who's only 3 for 24 at the meet, and he actually was beaten last time out by the 5, the next horse that we're going to discuss. But I think he's moving forward. I think he's going back to a 6 today. I could be wrong, but, going into the last race, the line was really nice. 9, then 6s. He should have run better than the 10 last time out. He didn't, but I'm willing to accept one bad race. And I think he's going to be ignored at the windows. I think you're going to get longer than the 7-2 that he's listed at. So, I'm hoping he moves forward to that 6. And if he does, I think he's going to be tough.
Mark?
I like what John's analogy is here, and I do relate a lot of it to football as well. You can draw a line through a bad performance, especially if the team, or in this case, the horse, was running well or good. Everybody eventually has a bad performance. If he runs back to the California and the Hollywood Cup numbers, those 6s that he put up here, he can certainly win this race. And at this price, as long as he doesn't go off the favorite here, I see exactly where John's coming from.
All right, now let's go to this is one of the favorites of the race, 3-1 shot Express Train. And I was actually surprised that, Mark's got him. But that's it. I mean, nobody picked him, and Mark doesn't have him as his top pick. But nobody has decided to roll the dice on Express Train as their top pick. But let's take a look at this horse here, who is 4 for 4 in the money at Del Mar with 3 wins. If we take a look at the sheets there, he may be going in the wrong direction. It does appear that way, 6, 7, 7, 9. But the thing that I also noticed is that he's never won consecutive races. It's a small detail. He's only had 12 starts. He is 9 of 10 in the money on a dirt fast track. But again, for a favorite, I'm willing to try to find someone else to beat him, John.
Well, I agree with you. He's going in the wrong direction. He won the last race with a backward move. He ran the 9 when he beat Royal Ship last time out. So why would I want to play a short price horse going in the wrong direction?
You don't.
Exactly. I know that it's just a little worse and a little worse and a little worse.
Yeah.
Nitpicking, but he's still going in the wrong direction. So that being said, there is no edge in playing a horse going in the wrong direction. Can he make a forward move? Of course he can. But this line doesn't indicate to me that he's ready to make that forward move. Not only that, he had a 4 last year at Del Mar, which he never got back to. You know, so to me, I'm looking at that as somewhat negative.
Mark?
Well, I can see exactly, you know, the horse is not going in the right direction here, but small. I mean, it's nothing major here. You got a great jockey trainer combination here where 6 for 6 in the money with 2 graded stakes wins. This horse is coming off a pair of bullet works at Del Mar in his last 3 trips there. Loves the track. Been out here 4 times. He's won 3 of those races, ran second the other time. This horse has got to be in the ticket. I don't know if he should be the favorite in the race, but I haven't mentioned here because I have to play him underneath.
All right, let's go with the 6, a 20-to-1 shot, Magic on tap. And I'm going to actually throw this horse into my exactas to try to make some money because you have Baffert as a 20-to-1 shot. Also, just a couple of starts ago, he ran a 9. That was a win in a grade 2 stakes race. So there are a couple of things that you do notice. You know, the fact that he's had, I mean, it's interesting. He starts his career off with an 8, which is extremely strong, a win and an 8. But he doesn't race in 2020, so something happened. He comes back in his first start in almost 2 years, and he wins, and it's an 11. That's good again. But then the 20 right after that, so you're concerned. But then comes right back with the win in a grade 2 race. So he's, you know, there's something there, but at least he's 20-to-1. We're not talking about a 5-to-1 shot. So that's why I'm willing to roll the dice that maybe there's something there, John.
Well, a 20-to-1, I would never knock a 20-to-1, and certainly a 20-to-1 trained by Baffert, I wouldn't knock. But this horse obviously has physical problems. 1 race as a 2-year-old, 2 races as a 3-year-old, no races as a 4-year-old. The good news is he's now making his 5th start this year, but he's never been the distance. He's never been a 1.25 miles. You know, listen, he had a bullet workout on August 14th, the best of 82, you know, so that must mean something. But again, I don't know. I don't particularly like him. He would have to run a new top or certainly run that 8 that he ran 4 years ago to compete with these. He's 20-to-1, so for that reason, and you're getting Baffert, why not?
All right, the 7 is Independence Hall, and this is a 5-to-1 shot. This was the other horse that I was really close to picking as my top choice. And you can see there, ran a 4 to start the year at Gulfstream. He had a couple of 4s in late 2019, early 2020. So you can see that on the board there. This is a strong horse, 1-for-1 at Del Mar. What I notice is this. If you take out the 3 races at Santa Anita and the first race of his career, which you should always do, the other races, he's run a 4, a 7, an 11, a 6, and a 4. Maybe he just doesn't like Santa Anita, John.
Maybe he just doesn't like the distance races.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Never won it more than a mile, John.
Yeah.
Right. That's my problem with him. He's coming off of a layoff, and he's being asked to go 1.25 miles. You know, this horse is partially owned by Steve Davison, who owns Twin Creek Farms, who owns part of the Sheets. So obviously I have some rooting interest, but, you know, he's coming off of a layoff. He runs well fresh, I can give you that. He ran a 4 last year coming off of a layoff. He ran a 6 coming off of a layoff. But now he's off another layoff, being asked to go a distance that he's never won at. So to me, the concern is the distance. The good news is he's 1-for-1 at Del Mar. The trainer does well off a layoff. You know, he'd have to be somewhat of a price for me to play him, but I'm going to include him because I have a personal interest in the horse.
Mark?
All the reasons John mentioned. This horse ran 3rd in the Pegasus World Cup. That's one of the big reasons that he's won $650,000 in his race. That was a big, big money race. But as I mentioned here, has never won at any distance more than a mile. And you're asking him to do just that here in a quality race against quality race horses. That 4 jumps out 3 races ago. That was the Pegasus World Cup, and he runs 10s and 11s after that. I'm not buying the horse today.
All right, let's go. Oh, we don't really have to spend a whole lot of time on this next horse, do we, John?
No, he's got no shot.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's doing in the race. I think he's lost. Okay, now let's move on to the 9. And this is going to be Cupid's Claws. Good combo there with the trainer and Rispoli Umberto on top. He ran a 5 a few starts ago, but that was off. What was that? Off of turf? Is that what that is, John?
Oh, that's a synthetic racetrack. That
Synthetic
was
racetrack. Okay. After that, he's got the 12 and then the 8, as you can see on the sheets there. So, look, this is a 15-1 shot. And when you see a horse that has run a 6 in September of 2020, even though the 5 was on a different surface, coming off the 8 at Del Mar, why not at 15-1 as a long shot, John?
Absolutely. This is a must use. I mean, you were looking for excuses about Independence Hall. Let's look at Cupid's Claws last year. He had 10 starts. 8 of them were on either turf or synthetic. The 2 races on the dirt were a 6 that he ran, second to last race last year. Then he bounced to the 20. He could run a 6 off of this line. You know, this horse certainly is a must-use, in my opinion. He has a shot to – he's less than 15-1 to run that 6. You know, you have to determine what number you think you need to win the race and then hook it up with what the odds of him running that number is. He's less than 15-1 to run that 6, and he's going to be longer than 15-1, I think, in the race. This year, he has a 5. The 12 was with no rest off the 5, and then he ran an 8 last time out at Del Mar without Lasix. This horse is live here. He's a must-use. He should be on your tickets, certainly if you're betting supers or tries.
Anything with that one before we move on to the next race, Mark?
Well, that 8 at Del Mar in his last race was a nice race, a good indicator here. And as John mentions, the horse is primarily, it was a turf horse, but he's run real well here on dirt of late since. He's won $500,000. I think he's got to be played underneath 15-1. I can't knock the horse, especially for the price.
All right, so there's our picks up on the board. John's going with the 4, Royal Ship. Mark has the 2, Tis a Magician, and I have the 3, Dr. Post. All right, now it is time to head over to race 11, and also, of course, at Del Mar, so you can play some doubles with all of these selections and possibilities that we've thrown at you. This is a 1 3/8. It's a turf race, and again, a Breeders' Cup Challenge race. So kind of rare that you get those back-to-back Breeders' Cup Challenge races, but that's how big the card is at Del Mar. Is this it for Del Mar?
No.
Okay.
No. They go to Labor Day. It's their big day. There will be $10 million in the Pick 6 for people that are interested in playing the Pick 6 because it's a mandatory payout. And going into tomorrow, it'll be $2 million to start. They'll put $8 million into the pool, maybe more. So it's going to be a big day. Tomorrow, Del Mar's the place to be.
All right, let's get started with the 1, Media Blitz. Now, this is a long shot at 30-1. But I kind of think that this is a horse that you should throw in to your exactas just in case. You got a great combo here of trainer and rider. Yes, the horse is going up in class. There's no question about it. If you take a look, you know, when he races in all these maidens and allowance and claimers, you know, he's actually been the favorite in a lot of those races. And he's a little bit inconsistent up and down on his sheets. But look, he's got 3 wins in his last 5. Like I said, you got to love the combo. He's 2 for 2 at Del Mar with a win. And maybe he's ready to make that forward step finally from 14-12 to something that can get him into the exacta or a trifecta, John.
The line is nice, but he's a little slow. You have horses in this race that have single digits. He's yet to run one of them. That's the problem I have with him. But again, I never knock 30-1 shots. If you like a 30-1 shot, don't even think twice. Certainly don't listen to me. If you like them, you play them.
All right. Out of the 2 30-1 shots, first and second here, which one do you like the best, Mark?
Well, he's only won 1 race. We're talking about the first horse, the Media Blitz horse. He's only won 1 race with Rispoli. That was his maiden race. Reuniting could work well for the horse, and if he does improve off the 14 and 12, moving forward that way, you can maybe say you can throw out the 21 for the Crossfire Hurricane, his last race, but he's never run at this distance before. I don't know if this horse is a turf horse or a dirt horse. I don't think the horse even knows. I probably lean to the 1 here.
All right, and nothing. I mean, the 2 started out with 4 straight wins.
Yeah, but those were on the other side of the ocean, and who knows who he was running against. It's not even close. The 1 is a much better 30-1 shot, in my opinion, than the 2. If I had to pick between both of them, not only that, the 1 has a win at Del Mar. The 2's never been at Del Mar.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I would play the 2 over the 1.
Something's going on with that 2. All right, the 3 is Red King, an 8-1 shot, and Red King is the defending champ of the race. Won the Del Mar Handicap last year, which was actually the last time that this horse has won a race. And it's actually the best race of his career. It's also the only win ever at Del Mar. And it's his only win ever at this distance. So maybe you can go with that and say, Mark, this is just a perfect opportunity to take advantage of that karma of the distance and the track in the specific race, or you just go, man, that was just one race. He should be a lot higher than 8-1.
It's not one race. If you go back 2 years ago, he ran an 8 almost to the day that he ran the 8 last year. Now he's coming up to the exact date that he ran the 8 last year. So 2 years ago he ran the 8. Last year he ran the 8. He's going to run the 8 tomorrow.
Or he'll finish 8th, one or the other. Yes.
You know, he's got the 9 3 races back without Lasix. The 13 was a bounce off the 9. The 10 last time out was a dirt race. He's obviously better on the turf. You know, the problem with him is he's 7 years old, but the good news is he's 8-1. He should be used.
You're using him, right, Mark?
I'm using him as well. You know, the horse, well, you mentioned only 1 win at Del Mar. He's also cashed 7 of 10 times at Del Mar. He's also cashed 5 of 7 times at the distance here. And you got Rosario up on the horse here. I love Karma. A year ago he wins here. He loves the track, or at least this race anyway. I got to play him underneath in this race.
Okay, the favorites next, United. And we all agree that this is going to be a tough horse to beat. He has those 6s last year. He has 6 to start the year. But he's coming off back-to-back 9s. And again, you're talking about a 2-1 shot. He was second, by the way, in this race last year. And it was the only time he's ever raced at this distance when he raced last year. And he ran a 9 in that race last year. He is 45%. He's got a 45% win percentage lifetime, which is strong. He's the favorite for a reason, John. But, you know, we could find a reason to try to hope that he doesn't win and pick another horse.
I don't think this horse has to win. I don't think this horse has to win at all. The good news is that he's 5 for 5 in the money at Del Mar, 3 wins in 2 seconds out of 5 starts. The bad news is he's never come back to the 6 that he ran earlier this year and the 6 he had last year. This horse is far from a lock, in my opinion, and at 2-1, I think he's a play against.
Mark?
You know, at 2-1, he is a play against. If he wasn't 2-1, if he's 4-1 or better, we're talking trying to make a case for the horse here. He did win a grade 2 a month ago here at Del Mar. He's been favored in 7 of his last 10 races. Does he get back to the 6 that he ran 2 races ago, or does he stay at the 9? If he stays at the 9, he doesn't cross the wire. He doesn't win this race. But he's got to be used, and I don't know if how hard I want to use him at 2-1.
Okay, let's move on to the next horse. That is the 5, Master of Fox Hounds. And this happens to be top picks for both John and Mark. As you can see on the line there, 2 of his last 3 races, he's got an 8, he's got a 7. The results aren't good, but the sheets are. Why are you going with this as your top pick, John?
Well, first of all, I like to ride a switch to Kent DeSormo. He's one of the best turf races in the world, turf riders in the world. I like the fact that he's a 4-year-old that's lightly raced, that you don't know how much better he's going to get. These other horses like Red King, who's 7, United is 6, those are older horses. You've seen all they're going to give you. This horse still has room for improvement. I like the 7 3 races back. I like the 8- last time out. This horse is going to run a 7 or better. And if you really get 8-1, I think that's more than a fair price. He's 1 for 1 at the distance. He's 1 for 2 at Del Mar. In my opinion, he's a serious play here.
Mark, your top pick as well.
I think the horse jumps off the sheet at 8-1 here in this race. Maybe 4-1. We're not talking as much or as excited about the horse, but he likes Del Mar. He's won one of his 2 races. He's 1-for-1 at the distance. The horse also a good turf horse here, 6 out of 12 in the money in turf. Since he's come over here from over the ocean, the other side, he's won 2 of 6 races. He's off an 8. He had a 7-3 races back here at 8-1. It's a real square price. I've got him on top in the race as well.
All right, the 6's Masterpiece. Trainer change is definitely something to consider here because you're leaving Chad Brown. It's a 15-1 horse that in his last 3 of the last 4 races all in the States, 9-9-8. You like that. What you don't like is the last time out at the distance, ran his worst race out of the 4, and it was just a disaster there. But again, anytime you go from Chad Brown to another trainer, that's an issue, right, John?
Yeah, it's a negative trainer change. Mike McCarthy's terrific, but he's not Chad Brown. And Drayton Van Dyke is okay, but he's not Joel Rosario. Not only that, excuse me, but the 9 and 8 that he ran at Keeneland and at Belmont, those turf courses were good. You know, he's going to get a completely different turf course in California. Never rains there. Turf course there is hard as a rock. So we don't know if he's going to be able to handle that kind of turf course. So for that reason, I'm against this horse.
I could have thrown in a little bit of a music jingle there. It
Okay.
never rains in California. All right. The 7 is Acclimate, the 2019 winner of this race, who, if he hadn't won his last time out, it would have still been the last time the horse had won a race. He's 10-1. And this horse actually has not come back to that distance either. So he is 1-for-1 at the distance, winning this race 2 years ago. But that was a 9. The best he's ever done is a couple of 7s, John.
I don't like this horse in this spot. Again, here you're dealing with a 7-year-old. 7-year-olds don't get better. You know, they begin to tail off. And I'd rather bet a younger horse in this spot. And I don't like the 7.
The 8 is Arklow, and Arklow is kind of like a co-favorite here at 5-2. So we'll see exactly who becomes the favorite when it's all said and done. But Arklow, John, is 1-for-1 at Del Mar, and that occurred a few starts ago in late November when he ran an 8. He's coming up back-to-back 10s this season at 5-2. So I'm not sure why I would take a favorite coming off back-to-back 10s.
The thing he has going for him is that he is 1-for-1 at Del Mar. And Brad Cox. Brad Cox is a super trainer.
Yes.
You know, but there's no value in playing this horse. I mean, if you play king someone long, like Master of Fox Hounds, obviously you could throw in a horse like Arklow, but I would never key off of him.
Mark?
The horse is going to draw a lot of money. He's the biggest money winner in the race, over $2.5 million. Brad Cox, that's a real nice combination. It could be a real fan favorite in the race. And he'll probably sniff this 9. If you think 9 wins this race, John, there's a tender for just that. But at 5-2, I won't be backing him, no.
But by the way, just to point something out about this horse, if you look 2 years ago, he was running consistent 8s. Last year, basically 9s, and this year 10s. So as you see, the older he's getting, the slower he's getting. You know, something just to keep in mind. Obviously, he could jump up at any time and run an 8. But if you look at his sheet, 8s 2 years ago, 9s last year, and 10s this year.
And he hasn't come anywhere close to that 5 in November of 2019.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Okay, the 9 is going to be my top pick, and that is the 15-1 shot award winner. What I like about the horse is ever since the change in trainers, it's not like he's gone to Pletcher or Chad Brown, but still, it's a trainer change. If you look at the first 4 races, 13, 12, 11, 8, so he was heading in the right direction, had 2 runner-ups, 2 wins. So here was the thing I was looking at. Okay, he runs the 12 at Del Mar, so I'm going to read into this. Okay, well, he's going back to Del Mar. So maybe it's a Del Mar thing. Maybe he doesn't run well at Del Mar. He's 0-for-1 there, ran at 12. Or was it just one of those blips, and he's going to get back going in the right direction? He's not 5-1. He's not 8-1. He's 15-1, and I'm willing to roll the dice that was just a blip, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you should understand something. If you see the P in front of the number last time out,
Okay.
that means it's a paceless. That means it's a paceless race, and you could always excuse because the fractions aren't true and it's not a true run race. So when you get bad numbers and you see a P in front of them, you could certainly excuse that race, and then you could read the sheet the way you're reading it: 13, 12, 11, 8, and disregard the 12 and that he ran last time out in the paceless race. So for that reason, at 15-1, why not?
Mark?
I think for the price, I can understand where you're at here. This horse, loves the turf. He's just a 7 out of 13 in the turf. He's won over $400,000 doing that. He ran 5th in a Grade 2 a month ago here at Del Mar. He likes the track here, obviously. That wasn't a bad race. And I like these throwout races, like John says here. You can always draw a line through either a difficulty in the race. And John says as the race was paceless, we'll draw a line through that 12 if you win this race.
Quickly, Astronaut, the 10 horse, John. He does have 4 runner-ups and a win over his last 5, but the sheets tell a different story.
No, he's just too slow. I don't like him in this spot.
And then the last horse in the race is going to be the 11, Say the Word, a 6-1 shot. He is going in the wrong direction, though, not only in results, but also the sheets, 7, 10, 11.
Well, the 11 last time out has that P in front of it, so if you want to excuse it, you can. The problem I have with this horse is he's only 6-1, and he draws a very tough post to win from the 11 post at 1 mile 3/8. You really hung out there. He does have the 7 and 8, 3 and 4. So, if you wanted to play him, you certainly could make some sort of a case for him. But I don't think he's any 6-1.
Joe Bravo, guys, is the 8th different jack up on this horse in his last 11 races. So obviously, there's not a lot of, what I'm going to say, pedigree to the horse, or no love for jockeys to be up on top of this horse. You throw that paceless race out, as John says, 8, 7, 10, 7, 8 going backwards here. Probably a square price, but he won't be on my ticket.
But the problem is, Mark, that he always seems to get bet. 2 races back, he went off 2-1. 3 races back, 3-1, 4-1. So the jockeys may not like him, but the bettors certainly do.
Yes, they appear to do.
All right, again, Master of the Hounds, Master of Fox Hounds. That's the top pick for John and Mark in the Del Mar Handicap. I'm going with the 9 award winner. John, appreciate it as always. Next week is the big one at Saratoga. The Travers. So we'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, guys, stay away.
Hey, may the horse be with you, guys. Thank you. Have a great week.
Welcome back, and you look terrific. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.